Now at 9, Oklahoma Supreme Court rules on whether there's a right to abortion in the state. Plus how some area colleges are preparing for severe weather season and possible storms. And
Manhattan's district attorney is responding to his critics ahead of a potential indictment against former President Donald Trump. I'm Mal Rivera in New York with the details coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thank you all for joining us tonight. I'm Jalen Banks. The Oklahoma Supreme Court today ruled there is a limited right to abortion in the state. This comes after reproductive rights activists challenged the Oklahoma abortion ban that was signed into law last year. By a 6-4 vote, the court held that abortion must be allowed in order to preserve the life of the mother. However, the court did allow a state ban on elective abortions to remain in place. The majority opinion ruled the Oklahoma Constitution guarantees a woman's right to protect her life, while the dissenting justices say there is no real implied right to an abortion in the U.S. or the state constitution. The Missouri Senate has approved initial legislation that would temporarily prohibit gender-affirming treatments for minors and restrict their participation in sports. The Republican-led Senate advanced the bills today after an all-night session. Doctors could lose their licenses and schools would lose state funding if they don't comply. Republicans are pushing nationwide to restrict transgender health care, drag shows, bathroom access, and the discussion of the LGBTQ topics in schools. 2 men wanted for attempted murder in Louisiana are caught in Jasper County, Missouri. Authorities arrested 26-year-old Dalton Andrews and 18-year-old Miguel Guajardo Jr. They were arrested on warrants for first-degree murder and criminal conspiracy. The U.S. Marshal's Office in Louisiana contacted the Jasper County Sheriff's Office about the suspects, saying they might be in the area of 898 North Sunny Slope Lane. That's east of Joplin city limits. Authorities got the description of the suspect's car and found it in the area, where they arrested them shortly after. The suspects are awaiting extradition to Louisiana. And now to weather. Chief Meteorologist Doug Hitty joins us.
Well, it definitely turned out to be a wet day for us today. We had showers. We had even a few thunderstorms during the morning hours, and it's still wet out there right now. We have some light drizzle. High of only 48 for now. Our temperatures are actually going up, and we're going to continue to rise as we go through the overnight hours. Heaviest rain out of here. A lot of clouds, a lot of drizzle. See a little bit of that being picked up. Could get a random shower as we go through the overnight hours tonight. But look at our temps. Upper 40s to near 50. We're going to continue to go up throughout the overnight hours. Southerly winds kicking in at about 5 to 15, but gusts still kind of in that 25 to 30 mile per hour range. And those are going to increase over the next couple days. So rising temperatures, much warmer tomorrow, staying very windy. Thunderstorms again Thursday. So we're going to break this all down for you, all coming up here in just a little bit.
All right, we'll see you then. Schools are preparing for severe weather season, taking steps to make their students, faculty, and staff safe. KOAM Shagun Bondali found out how higher education institutes in our area are doing that.
Northeastern Oklahoma A&M College officials are prepared for severe weather. The school has a comprehensive emergency management plan that includes regular communication with students and staffs.
I get an email from emergency management that gives us a breakdown of the weather for the week from the National Weather Service. So every morning we have a basic idea of what the weather is going to be that day, as well as for the remainder of the week. And every morning it is updated.
Lambert says the school has designated weather officers.
In the event of any weather watches that come about, our officers will begin to monitor the weather more closely on an hourly basis and watch for any updates in the warnings.
Technology is an important notification tool.
We are in the process of launching a mobile application system, a mobile app that will be available to all students and systems that will make it a little bit quicker to receive emergency notifications for weather alerts, active shooters, and so forth.
Pittsburgh State University Police Department works with local agencies in the event of severe weather.
If our campus were to be involved, we would obviously start coordinating with again, our off-campus partners, our Crawford County Emergency Manager's office, and we would start calling in resources to come assist and start that ball rolling.
Chief Height also stresses that students have a way to receive weather notifications.
We really try to direct people in our information, in our proactive information, to download your local weather app, make sure your location settings are on, and make sure you have that local your local TV station weather app, whichever favorite one you have.
Reporting in Pittsburgh, Shegun Bamdele, KOAM News.
Both schools are encouraging students and staff to take personal responsibility for their own safety by staying informed about weather conditions. Missouri Southern and Crowder College are teaming up to make it easier for international students to continue their higher education. The agreement allows those students to continue their education at MSSU at a discounted rate after graduating from Crowder College. Officials say it's about creating a smooth transition.
Our heart goes out to international students. Sometimes there's a language barrier, but they're here and they're giving it 100%, sometimes more than that, just to be able to get through what many of our students see as just an ordinary day.
Under the agreement, international students will pay Missouri Southern's out-of-state tuition rate rather than the international rate. The Environmental Protection Agency is in Jasper County today to give an update on cleanup projects. The EPA has been working to clean up mined waste for the past 30 years. That waste stems from extensive lead mining in the area decades ago, which contaminated the soil and water of many properties. This led to much of Jasper County being part of a Superfund cleanup site. Officials say so far they've cleaned up around 24 million cubic yards of mined waste and supplied 500 homes with new drinking water. But their work is far from over.
194 wells have been sampled, and then a portion of wells have shown up to be above safe drinking water limits. So expanding the site boundary would allow us to take long-term actions to reduce risks and to help protect the community and the environment.
The EPA is currently conducting a technical needs assessment as they work to determine if they should expand the Superfund site boundary. New York City is ramping up security ahead of a possible indictment against former President Donald Trump. Manhattan's district attorney is addressing criticism about the case. Fox News correspondent Madeline Rivera has more.
Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg firing back at critics who say his investigation into former President Donald Trump is politically motivated. His office releasing a statement Tuesday writing, quote, "We will not be intimidated by attempts to undermine the justice process, nor will we let baseless accusations deter us from fairly applying the law." A grand jury is weighing whether to indict Trump on charges related to alleged hush money payments made to adult film star Stormy Daniels, and is expected to hear from one of its final witnesses Wednesday. This week, top House Republicans sent a letter to Bragg demanding he hand over documents related to the case. They're also asking him to testify before Congress.
I think in your heart of hearts, you know, too, that you think this is just political. And I think that's what the rest of the country thinks, and we're kind of tired of that.
No one needs to broken law. On Tuesday, protesters gathered outside of a Manhattan courthouse. If the grand jury votes to indict, law enforcement sources tell Fox News an arraignment would not be expected until days later. Monday night on his Truth Social platform, former President Trump once again denied any wrongdoing.
Whether it's the Mar-a-Lago raid or the Unselect Committee hoax, the perfect Georgia phone call, it was absolutely perfect, or the Stormy Horseface Daniels extortion plot, they're all sick. And it's fake news.
Mr. Trump would be the first former president to be indicted on a criminal charge. In New York, Madeline Rivera, Fox News.
Coming up, President Biden signs a bill to declassify information about the origins of COVID-19. Why some worry it might not answer many questions. President Biden has signed the bipartisan COVID Origins Act into law, ordering the declassification of information relating to the genesis of the coronavirus. But there are new questions about how much data will actually be made public. Fox News White House correspondent Jackie Heinrich reports.
The president obviously has to balance transparency with national security. He's willing to be as transparent as possible with the American people because he believes that's important.
President Biden says his administration will declassify as much as possible, but will withhold anything that could harm national security. A warning the public may not learn much, depending on how much is there.
Most of the information is unclassified, but they refuse to give it. So this is a real problem.
The Chinese Foreign Ministry condemning the coming release.
The China-related content of the relevant U.S. bill seriously distorts the facts, concocts false information, hypes up the laboratory leak theory without any evidence, and smears and attacks China.
China wants the world to believe the book on COVID origins is open and shut after Beijing manipulated a World Health Organization report that stated it was extremely unlikely the virus came from a lab leak. China appointed half the scientists who wrote it, all the while withholding certain access and information, prompting the WHO chief to publicly raise doubts about its credibility. Ever since, China has swatted down findings from the Biden administration probe, but lawmakers are also interested in whether the materials will shed light on gain-of-function research, which makes viruses more dangerous so scientists can study them.
Gain-of-function research was prohibited, then the NIH rescinded their prohibition. Are they trying to hide this because there was indirect funding? Was there personal financial gain?
Although the FBI and Department of Energy believe a lab leak most likely sparked the pandemic, 4 other U.S. agencies still believe natural transmission was the most likely cause, and 2 agencies are undecided. So it is hoped that this new law will deliver data showing us why exactly that is. At the White House, Jackie Heinrich, Fox News.
Fungus considered an urgent resistant threat spread at an alarming rate in the U.S. healthcare facilities in 2020 to 2021. A new CDC report shows a concerning increase in cases of Candida auris with resistance to the most recommended treatment. C. auris is usually not a threat to healthy people, but can cause severe infections with high death rates in hospitalized patients and nursing home residents. A new study finds that short sleep time can increase the risk of clogged arteries. The findings published in the European Heart Journal says low sleep can cause the chance of developing peripheral artery disease to grow. The disease can cause clogged leg arteries and high risk of heart attack and strokes. Those who get 5 hours or less of sleep have a 74% chance for developing the disease. And Doug is back with a complete look at the forecast and later. Girard baseball opens its season at home against Labette County.
Well, of course, it turned out to be a wet one for us today. We had showers. We had thunderstorms during the morning hours. Thankfully, nothing strong, nothing severe. But since then, it's kind of looked like this. Just clouds, drizzle, still some wet roads. Nice shot, Indigo Sky Casino and Resorts. And we are going to have a few on and off showers and periods of drizzle through tonight. So if you are going to be out, be careful on the roadways as a lot of them are still a little bit wet. But all the persistent rain is gone, but you can see the very thick clouds and that drizzle which has been popping up. All right, rainfall amounts, we didn't get a lot. Southeastern Kansas, I know you guys are still in the drought. All the heavy rain is always east of you, and it's going to stay that way this spring and summer until we get out of this pattern. Where we see the greens, those are areas showing us 1/4 to 1/2 inch, but most of us 1/10 to about 1/4 inch. All this rain is gone, but we have our next storm system reloading. California has been smacked over the past couple of weeks, but that system is heading toward us as we go through the week. All right, look at our temps, upper 40s to lower 50s, but check this out. Look at the warm up just to our west, Wichita to Oak City. You can see this little moisture tongue here with warmer temperatures, and that's ahead of a weak little wave that is going to rotate through, but also a warm front draped just to our south. So as that pushes through, we go up instead of down throughout the overnight hours tonight. Sitting at 50, south winds at about 10. It's going to stay breezy. It's going to be windy again for us tomorrow. Drizzle, random shower all the way through tomorrow, and then look at the rain chances go up, especially Thursday afternoon. Let's step through time. Again, random shower, a little bit of drizzle for us tonight. Look at these temps. We're going to be in the lower 60s by the time you wake up in the morning. Mostly cloudy skies tomorrow. We can't rule out a random shower pushing 70 by noon, into the 70s during the afternoon. So it's going to be much warmer across the region. 62 in the morning, 67 by noon, 72 by 5. Southerly winds 20 to 30. Western counties, Chanute, Fredonia, Coffeyville, Yates Center, upper 70s for afternoon highs, which is kind of crazy. As we go through tomorrow night, clouds continue to thicken up, but we hold into the 60s. Very mild. Here comes a cold front Thursday. Along the front, we start to get scattered showers Thursday afternoon. That front presses into our southern counties. We start to get some thunderstorms popping up, but we're on the north side of the front, or at least majority of us. So these don't look too strong or severe, but these guys in our southern counties, those could be a little bit stronger as we get into Thursday evening. Then periods of showers, thunderstorms, Thursday night into Friday morning, and some of these could produce some heavy amounts of rain. But again, if you live in southeastern Kansas, you're not going to get a whole bunch from this next storm system. It's mainly going to be I-44 corridor and south, the areas that have the potential to get 1 upwards to 2 inches of rain by Friday morning. Southeastern Kansas, Chanute, Fredonia, Yates Center, Iola, maybe 1/4 of an inch once again. All right, 73 tomorrow, 68 Thursday, 57 on Friday with showers. Most of the weekend looks pretty good. A random shower Saturday, and then rain picks back up again late Sunday into Monday. Thunderstorms again by next Thursday.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, Doug. Coming up, TikTok trying to avoid a ban.
As lawmakers press for a ban on the social media app TikTok, the company says it's ready to make some changes. I'm Mark Meredith in Washington. We'll take a closer look coming up.
Roughly 150 million Americans use TikTok, but the company is making changes as the video sharing app faces increased scrutiny over privacy and security. Meanwhile, several social media platforms are being sued for what schools believe is their role in harming the mental health of our youth. Fox News correspondent Mark Meredith has details from Washington.
TikTok, one of the most popular social media apps in the world, says it's rolling out a slew of new content guidelines designed to make the app safer. TikTok implementing the changes, including clamping down on deepfakes and third-party reviews of content containing conspiracy theories. This as a growing number of lawmakers hope to ban the app over cybersecurity and misinformation concerns.
At the end of the day, right now, over 150 million people's data is at risk, and that's something we're all concerned about, including, by the way, a lot of those people that are using those applications today that probably aren't aware of it.
The debate comes as school districts in Washington State, Florida, New Jersey, California, Arizona, and Pennsylvania are suing TikTok and Meta, Facebook and Instagram's parent company, over the youth mental health crisis. The districts allege students are now suffering from a wide range of mental health issues, including increased risks of suicide, depression, and eating disorders. The tech companies say they're constantly monitoring for potential health issues. Meta telling Fox, quote, "We don't allow content that promotes suicide, self-harm, or eating disorders, and of the content we remove or take action on, we identify over 99% of it before it's reported to us." Still, cyber experts argue more could be done.
If we can start having these social media companies be held accountable, having them be able to be sued and then pay up for those damages, we will see more action taking place to prevent this from happening in the first place.
Lawmakers are expected to grill TikTok CEO when he heads up to Capitol Hill on Thursday. He'll be testifying before a House Commerce Committee. In Washington, Mark Meredith, Fox News.
Google launches its rival to ChatGPT. It's called Bard. And Google parent company Alphabet is looking for users and feedback to gain ground on Microsoft in the artificial intelligence technology race. Starting in the US and the UK, consumers can join a waitlist for English language access to Bard. Up next, how a 90-year-old tortoise is helping to save his critically endangered species. 90 is a little up there to be a new dad, wouldn't you say? Don't tell that to Mr. Pickles, a proud new father. Mr. Pickles is a radiated tortoise that lives in the Houston Zoo. He's the oldest animal at the zoo. He and his mate, Mrs. Pickles, have been together since her arrival at the zoo in 1996. These cuddly baby reptiles and Dilge, Gherkin, and Jalapeno. Even though 90 may not be so old for a tortoise, It surprises you when Mrs. Pickles laid eggs. The baby pickles are important because radiated tortoises are critically endangered. 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports coming your way. As the city of Joplin celebrates its 150th anniversary, an event looks back at the life of one of the city's most influential athletes, Gabby Street. Plus, the Spiva Center for the Arts hosts an event allowing people to create their own comic book. The Joplin History and Mineral Museum is hosting a presentation to honor an iconic Joplin resident as the city celebrates 150 years. KOAM's Amber Jenkins has more.
Gabby Street moved to Joplin in 1922 and shook up the game of baseball. As Joplin reflects on 150 years, there's no denying the impact of Gabby Street.
Gabby Street was important because, for one thing, they organized the Gabby Street League for baseball for young men 12 to 16, which preceded Little League. Little League came later.
Gabby Street managed the Joplin Miners and captivated ears as a sports broadcaster.
They named a street after Gabby Street Boulevard, but then sometime later on, the people didn't seem to know who he was, and they changed the name of the street back to 26th Street.
Gabby Street Boulevard is now known as West 26th Street in Joplin. However, Joplin natives like Irwin believe that the street name should reflect Joplin history.
When they had Gabby Street Day, the chairman of the Chamber of Commerce said, Gabby Street's the greatest thing to happen to this city in the past 50 years. At the time, they were very proud of him, and I think we should think about him a little bit more.
Irwin believes Joplin is slowly forgetting Gabby Street's legacy. Presentations like this keeps history alive.
And hoping that the City Council might restore the name Gabby Street Boulevard to 26th Street. I think Gabby Street Boulevard sounds so much more fun than 26th Street, which is boring to me.
Reporting in Joplin, Amber Jenkins, KOAM News.
Joplin's 150th birthday celebration is on Thursday at City Hall. The Spiva Center for the Arts is helping people get the creative juices flowing during the spring break. They're hosting an event to craft comics and manga. It'll cover the basics of comic and manga creation, including designing fun characters, developing worlds, and creating narrative conflict.
I really love storytelling, and really it seems like such a interesting and unique way to get stories across. And I've just always loved the just reading them, and I wanted to create something that could also express myself through it.
Today, people created 2 individual characters and a setting. It's for anyone ages 12 to 17 and will last until Thursday. It's only $50 to join. A Pittsburgh organization is raising money with a purse auction. Safe House Crisis Center hosted its annual Bags to Riches Ladies Night Out fundraiser. Safe House provides resources for victims of domestic violence. This event is a chance for people to come out, mingle, and bid on purses in a silent auction, all for a good cause.
Funds are really going to help us provide victim assistance, and also just kind of filling in the gaps where we have some shortfalls on grant funds, where we've gotten level funding where we need those funds to increase. This will help cover those shortfalls.
There were also raffle items and door prizes. The Federal Reserve started its policy meeting today with a decision on an interest rate hike expected Wednesday. The recent collapse of 2 U.S. banks is prompting concern about the global economy and whether another rate increase would do serious harm. Meanwhile, Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen is making an announcement concerning support for banks. Fox News correspondent Lauren Blanchard reports from Washington.
Our banking system is sound, even as it's come under some pressure.
Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen delivering a message of reassurance to the U.S. banking system following the recent collapse of 2 U.S. banks. While speaking to the American Bankers Association, Yellen said the situation is stabilizing, but more rescue efforts by the federal government could be necessary.
We are squarely focused on doing our job, and you should rest assured that we will remain vigilant.
A few blocks away at the Federal Reserve, board members began their policy meeting. Economists are anticipating the Fed will raise interest rates by a 1/4 percentage point, but the recent turmoil in the banking system has some calling for a pause.
I hope that they are cautious, that they think about the potential negative impact of additional rate increases in the midst of all of this uncertainty.
Others disagree, with inflation still above the Fed's 2% target.
I think the Fed will tighten 25 basis points tomorrow. That's a coin flip. It's a guess, just like anybody else's. Inflation is still an issue. And inflation affects everyone, and particularly, it's very regressive. It particularly affects working class people.
Following the Fed's announcement Wednesday, Capitol Hill will be busy with hearings where cabinet members will be defending President Biden's 2024 budget proposal. In Washington, Lauren Blanchard, Fox News.
A bit later, another meeting between world leaders in Ukraine.
The leaders of China and Japan are looking to expand their influence as the war in Ukraine grinds on. I'm Mike Tobin in Kyiv. Details coming up.
Well, of course, it turned out to be a wet one for us today. We had showers. We had thunderstorms during the morning hours. Thankfully, nothing strong, nothing severe. But since then, it's kind of looked like this. Just clouds, drizzle, still some wet roads. Nice shot, Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. And we are going to have a few on and off showers and periods of drizzle through tonight. So if you are going to be out, be careful on the roadways, as a lot of them are still a little bit wet. But all the persistent rain is gone. But you can see the very thick clouds and that drizzle which has been popping up. All right, rainfall amounts, we didn't get a lot. Southeastern Kansas, I know you guys are still in the drought. All the heavy rain is always east of you, and it's going to stay that way this spring and summer until we get out of this pattern. Where we see the greens, those are areas showing us 1/4 to 1/2 inch, but most of us 1/10 to about 1/4 of an inch. All this rain is gone, but we have our next storm system reloading. California has been smacked over the past couple of weeks, but that system is heading toward us as we go through the week. All right, look at our temps, upper 40s to lower 50s, but check this out. Look at the warm up just to our west, Wichita to Oak City. You can see this little moisture tongue here with warmer temperatures, and that's ahead of a weak little wave that is going to rotate through, but also a warm front draped just to our south. So as that pushes through, we go up instead of down throughout the overnight hours tonight. Sitting at 50, south winds at about 10. It's going to stay breezy. It's going to be windy again for us tomorrow. Drizzle, random shower all the way through tomorrow. And then look at the rain chances go up, especially Thursday afternoon. Let's step through time. Again, random shower, a little bit of drizzle for us tonight. Look at these temps. We're going to be in the lower 60s by the time you wake up in the morning. Mostly cloudy skies tomorrow. We can't rule out a random shower, pushing 70 by noon, into the 70s during the afternoon. So it's going to be much warmer across the region. 62 in the morning, 67 by noon, 72 by 5. Southerly winds 20 to 30. Western counties, Chanute, Fredonia, Coffeyville, Yates Center, upper 70s for afternoon highs, which is kind of crazy. As we go through tomorrow night, clouds continue to thicken up, but we hold into the 60s. Very mild. Here comes a cold front Thursday. Along the front, we start to get scattered showers Thursday afternoon. That front presses into our southern counties. We start to get some thunderstorms popping up, but we're on the north side of the front, or at least majority of us. So these don't look too strong or severe, but these guys in our southern counties, those could be a little bit stronger as we get into Thursday evening. Then periods of showers, thunderstorms Thursday night into Friday morning, and some of these could produce some heavy amounts of rain. But again, if you live in southeastern Kansas, you're not going to get a whole bunch from this next storm system. It's mainly going to be I-44 corridor and south, the areas that have the potential to get 1 upwards to 2 inches of rain by Friday morning. Southeastern Kansas, Chanute, Fredonia, Yates Center, Iola, maybe 1/4 of an inch once again. All right, 73 tomorrow, 68 Thursday, 57 on Friday with showers. Most of the weekend looks pretty good. A random shower Saturday, and then rain picks back up again late Sunday into Monday. Thunderstorms again by next Thursday.
All right, sounds good, Doug. Coming up in sports, Conference Player of the Week honors for a Pitt State pitcher. Plus, the Girard Trojans open up the season at home against Labette County. Jacob Leonard has those highlights and more after the break.
Well, the Girard Trojans are coming off one of the best baseball seasons in program history. Last season, Girard finished as co-CNC champions. They won a regional championship and went on to finish 4th in the 3A state tournament. This afternoon, Girard opens a new season, kicking off their schedule at home against Labette County. After a leadoff walk in the first, Trevor Amershek settles in on the mound, gets the strikeout looking there. Then later in the inning, Amershek drops a big curveball in for another strikeout. It keeps the Grizzlies off the board in the inning. And Girard goes straight to work with the bats. Jaden Norris with a man on second. Big swing to center. Goes off the bottom of the fence out there. Caleb Scales comes in to score from second. Check it out, Norris. RBI triple for the Trojans. Gets him on the board. A couple batters later, Ethan Bennett reaches out and pokes this one into left center. That'll bring Norris home. Girard gets the lead to 2-0. Ian Harlow finishes the inning strong for Labette County. Gets the swing and the miss there, but Girard rolls from that point forward. Trojans win their season opener big, 14-3. In Joplin this afternoon, got a little interstate matchup between the hometown Eagles and Colgan Panthers. Colgan had a 6-3 lead going to the final inning, but Joplin scores 5 in the bottom of the 7th to win it 8-6. Eli Sautler finishes the game with a walk-off 3-run home run. Well, the St. Louis Cardinals are just 9 days away from their season opener against the Blue Jays. Now, so far in spring training, they've played 20 games, going 14-6 overall. Tonight they aim for their 5th straight win, facing the Washington Nationals. Josiah Gray dialed in early for Washington, gets Andrew Kisner swinging in the 4th. Then in the 5th, another swinging strikeout. Finally, very next batter, Tommy Edmond goes down. Josiah Gray, 6 scoreless innings with 5 strikeouts. Now in the 6th, Cardinals down 2-0. Victor Robles adds to the Washington lead with the 2-run jack here. The Cards, though, do come back, and this game actually ends in a 4-4 tie. Well, Pittsburgh State's Ben DeRosier has been named the MIAA Pitcher of the Week. DeRosier had a great outing on Sunday in the Gorillas series finale against Northeastern State. In that game, he threw 6 shutout innings, allowing just 3 hits, struck out a season-high 9 batters. And DeRosier is now 4-0 on the mound this season. In his last 3 starts, he's allowed just 1 earned run in 17 innings, while racking up 21 strikeouts. So plenty of baseball going on today. Also, World Baseball Classic just finished up. We're watching it on the phone. Japan beats the United States 3-2. Incredible drama. Shohei Ohtani, Mike Trout, the final out, teammates for the Angels. Ohtani gets the strikeout to end it.
Yeah, that last pitch was straight heat.
It was nasty. It looked like a wiffle ball, man.
All right, sounds good. We're back with more after this. Ukraine got a big diplomatic boost with the surprise visit of Japanese Prime Minister Kishida just a day after Chinese President Xi started a 3-day visit to Moscow. Fox News senior correspondent Mike Tobin has more from Kyiv, Ukraine.
The focus turns from combat to diplomacy in both Ukraine and Russia as 2 Asian powerhouses visit the region. Here in Kyiv, Japanese Prime Minister Kishida making a surprise visit on Tuesday. He held talks with top Ukrainian officials, laid a wreath at a memorial for fallen soldiers, and visited Bucha, where Russian troops allegedly committed widespread atrocities in the early days of the war.
I really feel great anger for all the atrocious acts. I would like to give my heartfelt condolences to all the victims and the wounded on behalf of Japan.
Kishida's visit is being seen as largely symbolic, a stark contrast to the high-stakes summit being held between Russian President Putin and Chinese President Xi in Moscow. Putin has high hopes the Chinese will come through with a military aid package, but on Tuesday the talk was mostly about trade and economic cooperation, though Putin did give his backing to China's peace plan, which includes an immediate ceasefire.
China's peace plan could form a basis for a peaceful settlement when the West is ready for it. However, we aren't seeing any such readiness.
Meantime, tensions between the U.S. and Russia are escalating. On Tuesday, the Pentagon denied a claim by Moscow that Russian jets intercepted 2 U.S. bombers near Russian airspace, and also announced it will be speeding up the process to get American Abrams tanks into Ukraine as soon as possible.
This is about getting this important combat capability into the hands of the Ukrainians sooner rather than later to meet Ukraine's critical security and defense needs.
The Pentagon says it will take about 16 weeks for Ukrainian crews to train on the tanks, once delivered. In Kyiv, Mike Tobin, Fox News.
Coming up, how pictures were recovered from a camera that was lost in a river more than a decade ago. Pictures have given us the ability to capture memories for generations. Coral Amai dropped her camera in a river, believing to have lost some core memories forever. Evan Krugel shares the story on how those memories have resurfaced for Coral and her family.
It was on a 2010 rafting trip in southwest Colorado that Coral Amai thought her digital camera was lost forever.
I had gotten tossed from my tube at Smelter Rapid and came back up, got my tube, and my camera was missing.
Gone were the photos from her graduation and from her best friend's wedding.
I remember getting back to my boyfriend's house and unconsolably crying and upset.
Coral assumed those photos were gone forever until this week when a man fishing in the river made an unexpected discovery.
I was just walking along and I saw it sticking out of the sand. I picked it up and I'm like, wow, this is obviously trash.
Spencer Greiner took the camera home and pried open the door with a screwdriver.
Curiosity got the best of me, so I had to see what was on it. I plugged it into the computer and it read it immediately, and I'm like, oh, cool. Maybe let's see what treasures we're going to find on this memory card. And I started going through the pictures, and it was obviously a bachelorette party. And then there was a wedding the next day.
Spencer then posted the pictures online in a local Facebook group.
I think it was less than an hour after I made the post, the groom from the wedding was like, that's me and my wife. So it was, I was shocked that it happened so quickly.
That's when Coral's phone started blowing up.
I read the notification and just totally dumbfounded and got up and I was dancing in the bathroom and I was like, who am I going to tell? I need to tell this to somebody right now.
It was really neat to be a part of that.
Spencer believes the camera traveled more than a mile down the Animas River before the chance encounter.
Just blows my mind that a SD card still worked after all that time.
Memories thought lost forever, resurfacing once more.
For it to have been in the river for 13 years, I thought that was just astounding, really.
And that's our time for tonight, and thank you all so much for joining us. But before you go, we'll leave you with a video of a baby and mother gibbon monkey at the San Antonio Zoo. Be safe, and we'll do this all again tomorrow. We'll see you then.